as Gradius, but it's a little bit different. So you don't get pickups in this game. You just pick your loadout to start. So it looks like you can select something from this menu at the beginning of the game. You can't. You just have to go with what it gives you. So we're going to start the time and get going here.
Arms installation is complete. Good
So
luck.
to start off with, we have the straight laser, which does not look like a laser at all. We have the Vulcan round, or the Vulcan round. I always forget the name of it, which is the god tier weapon throughout the game. It's not even the most powerful, but it has a real fast fire rate, and as you can see, I can rotate it around me, which is very, very useful, especially when we get to the side-scrolling stages. This is one of those shmups where we go from the top-down view, as you see here, with this crazy Mode 7 horizon that's a little bit much for me to tolerate. It's a little too narrow for my taste, but a pretty cool graphical effect nonetheless. And then the even number stages are going to be side-scrolling, which are more common, I guess you'd say, than this look and feel that we have in the first stage. But the first stage is really all about getting used to this Mode 7 craziness. You're looking like you're going over the horizon. And it's, I don't know. There's some cool effects with the enemies coming up from the cloud cover there. So I guess there's that.
It's pretty neat. It's neat and disorienting at the same time.
Yeah, like, for the longest time, I found this game really off-putting. I never wanted anything to do with it. And then I finally got to stage 2, heard that music, I was like, yeah, this game's pretty awesome. I can play some of this game. It's funny how that happens. Okay, we want to get a one cycle on this mini boss, which is looking real dicey right now. Oh, we didn't. I cannot even tell you last time I didn't get a one cycle on this boss. Marathon luck. Are you kidding me? All right, there we go. Easy 2 cycle though. So that's gonna cost, I don't know, let's call it 5 seconds. That's the real. So when you die in this game, it's a scrolling spawn, which means that the game kind of keeps moving and you spawn where you spawn. So the time saves in this are a little bit different from Gradius, because in Gradius, you go back to a checkpoint and you lose everything. In this game, you don't have pickups. You have 3 options to choose from throughout every stage, and you get different upgrades as you progress through the game. And as you take damage, as long as you take damage that can't kill you directly, you'll just lose that weapon that you have equipped at the time. There's no way to get it back without dying, which I feel is a little weird. But yeah, so we'll take strategic deaths if things go awry as far as taking damage that we don't expect to. But for the most part, we're just kind of going along and getting our shots in when we can. There's not a whole lot to worry about on this first stage, but obviously it's going to get a little bit more hectic as we go. We're just going to keep this round laser, very, very obviously a laser weapon with its pulsing energy shots. The naming convention of some of these weapons is better than round laser as we go on. But we're coming up to this boss here. And we want to kill the bosses and the mini-bosses. We only have mini-bosses on the top-down stages. I don't know why, but that's how they chose to do it. It's saying Earthling Approach, even though I think it sounds like it's saying Earthling About. But apparently it's saying Earthling Approach. And now we're going to switch to our missiles. We have macro missiles here and our normal kind of pea shooter shot. We're fighting Arachnotron here. You see a big spider-looking guy. He's going to shoot his web out at us. It slows us down a little bit, not too big of a deal. It gets way harder as you scale the difficulty up to deal with that web. That web slows you down really, really to a crawl on higher difficulties. But we play on easy because it's significantly faster. And this being a speedrun, because again, you can speedrun shmups. It's true. I know, hard to believe.
Insane.
Alright. So yeah, we lost about 6 seconds to that 2 cycle for the mini boss. But now we have our explosion bombs that we add in here in stage 2. This is Colony. This music is godly. So I'm going to pick and choose my spots to talk. Because I want to step over it. It's so good. So we come up with a couple new enemies here. The side-scrolling stages, I feel, tend to be way harder than the top-down stages. You're a little bit more cramped quarters, and the enemies can be pretty nasty. You want to kill them as quickly as possible, which seems obvious, right? But they have some real nasty techniques, like the enemies I was just killing. They can teleport around the screen a little bit. They kind of jump ahead instead of flying at a normal pace. So we want to clear all these guys out, not only to reduce lag, but, you know, just to not have to deal with their shenanigans. So this gun I'm using, the Vulcan round. This, when I hold down B, I rotate it forward, and as I let go B, it rotates back. So I have a pretty good area of coverage with this weapon, and for these side-scrolling stages, it is a godsend. Because, you know, we're going to see enemies spawning from behind, we're going to see enemies spawning obviously on the ceiling and on the floor, and this can really get in those hard-to-reach nooks and crannies. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, somehow I didn't take a hit there or die. I don't know how that happened, because that enemy was on top of my sprite. But you know what? Happy little accidents. We'll take them. Thanks, video game. The game starts to introduce these line mines right here. And they're going to kind of come back with a vengeance, and hopefully you won't notice them. If I'm doing my job right, you will not notice them later in this stage, because we will kill them very quickly. Yeah, this little slinky arm enemy, we kill him really quickly. I think that's the closest thing in this stage to a mini-boss. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, we're going to get out of the way. So you saw them, but I avoided them. There's two spots where those mines fall from the ceiling, and when you're playing this blind, they just wreck you, for the most part. We're making our way through the last little bit of the stage as we approach this boss here, and this boss is going to look very familiar to my buddies out there who are fans of RoboCop. I'm not going to spoil it, but I figure you probably can take a pretty sound guess from that clue there. Let's clean up the rest with our Vulcan round, our god weapon. This is so relaxing after Gradius.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like,
oh my goodness.
Don't you even take death abuse in this game?
There's one spot, yeah, where, and there may be an opportunity for more, but there's one that I stumbled onto that's coming up in the next stage. But man, it's okay. So we're getting into the boss quarter here. It's just so nice knowing that, like, if an errant hit comes in, like, it's not going to completely ruin the run, which is pretty nice in shmups. There we go. We gotta make our way through kind of these perils. It's sort of similar to near the end of the game in Gradius, where the stage starts to fall, except way less harrowing, as you control the rate at which it falls, really, by breaking open these block stacks here. And that's going to lead us to a guy you might be familiar with, if you have seen RoboCop. Wait for it. I wanted to time this better, but the lead-up is going longer than I expected. There he is! Hey, buddy, it's Ed209, everyone. His official name is T36 Tobar, but we know better. Who are they kidding with that nonsense? He is legally distinct from Ed209. So we're just gonna, we use explosion bombs here. This is our weapon that I'm spamming right now, and we're just gonna mess his day up real bad. We can kind of shoot these bombs through his head, essentially, and you're gonna know that we're really putting a hurting on him when he starts to fire his laser, starts charging it up. There it is. So now when he does that, I'm gonna get behind him and sneak in some Vulcan round shots, which doesn't save a ton of time, but it saves just a little bit. Yeah, any of these little extra hits you can get in, you're gonna help it out. Okay, back here. Just gotta tap that B button just a little bit to make sure that it's staying where I want it to. I don't want it to rotate around too far. Okay, that's pretty decent. It's two lasers. Two lasers is the most you want to see. You see three, you were slow. We'll see how this shakes out. Looks like we're gonna lose a little bit here. Oh, we're still in a good range. Okay, yeah, we lost about a second and a half. All right, so now
Installation is complete. Good luck.
we have now we've got this needle cracker weapon, which is pretty great. It homes in on A lot of enemies. It's kind of sporadic at times. You see it's kind of shooting backwards, and there's not necessarily anything on the screen to shoot backwards at. But for the most part, it's pretty good. It does a little bit more damage than the Vulcan round, but it's hard to say when you want it and when you don't. You kind of get a feel for it as you play the game. But we're going to stick with it for a while, mostly because we want to make sure we have the Vulcan round for a specific part later on in this stage. We want to do that without dying. This is kind of the hardest bit to translate from Mode 7 here. We got through there without dying. It's very easy to miscalculate the appearance of these things, I guess, the perspective that the game intends for you to understand things are happening at. Sometimes things look further away than they are, and then it turns out, no, it was on top of you. Just kidding. So you have to get used to that in this game.
This stage looks rough.
It's one of those, like, you know, it's same old story. Like, you know, you get used to it, and but even so, like, you kind of try to speed it up, get that little extra frame saver out of there, and then that's when you're gonna have a bad day. But this is our death abuse coming up. This is like, this is where we're gonna just melt this this mini boss here. Not so many of a boss, as you'll see here in just a moment, because it takes up a whole heck of a lot of the screen. We're going to try to get some shots in here, try to break down one of these turrets that he's got, and then run into him, and hopefully, if we do this right, he will blow up before we respawn, which we did. So that's our quick kill for that boss. And so, as I play this game, I wonder, like, which other bosses can we quick kill, and how often do we want to abuse that? Because you get a lot, you end up with, like, 7 or 8 lives by the end of the game. So you can do that, but you have to, you know, for a marathon, I don't know that you necessarily want to take too many more deaths than you have to, but just in case things start to go sideways. Although I put the estimate super high for this game, just in case. A little bit more hot Mode 7 action for you coming up, as we have to get through some turrets that are rotating on the Mode 7 borders. Which I think is, like, even though they're shooting at me, I think it's easier than the first part, because the first part moves. This part, like, you know, shoot a little tiny shot, whatever. I'll probably die having said that. This part is easy. That's how it goes in speedrunning, right?
Oh god, yes.
This is no problem. I got the dead. Just
especially in marathons. I'll
Yeah.
say that, man.
I know,
what would you say is the meatball/bubble portion of this game?
Definitely the last section. I mean, same as the meatballs. I mean, when we get to the stage 6, there's 6 stages in this game, and when we get there, there's some real nasty stuff it throws out at you. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So this boss is 3-tiered. So it's going to start off with, like, just these little, very, like, normal-looking aircraft. But, oh, wait! Now it's a giant flying saucer. So we're going to switch to our Vulcan round here. And we want to dodge left for the most part and avoid these bombs. Vulcan round just fires so quickly, it's pretty easy to... You have to break down these little tabs, I guess, that are sticking out of the saucer. Oh, we took a hit there. Okay, so we'll switch over to Needle Cracker. If we die here, that's fine, because we're going to refill our Vulcan round, but we don't really need it for this part. We're going to use either Needle Cracker or our bombs. Ideally, you want to use bombs sort of same way that we used E-Laser in Gradius for most bosses. Well, now we have no choice, because we took a hit with Needle Cracker. And you see that this guy can rotate where he fires his lasers. He has 2 of 4 spots we'll always fire lasers from. And that felt like a pretty fast kill. Although the stage was maybe not so hot. Alright, stage 4. This is, you know, okay, I guess this is like the bubble stage.
Arms installation is
I should have used macro missile, that's fine. It doesn't really matter, I just have to adjust my height a little bit for killing this boss. So, you asked about the bubble stage, Toad. This has to be, by definition, the bubble stage, because there are enemies that are very similar to bubbles. Now, they don't work quite the same way. They're not the giant-sized bubbles that break down into little subsections and slow everything down. But there are nasty little enemies that will spawn at times that will latch on to Axelay, which is the name of the ship, and will start dragging you down at a slow pace. And it can be just enough where, you know, you get through some of the later parts of the stage. Here they are right here, this blue guy. So I'm pressing up to counteract his slow fall. Not so bad. right now because this is a pretty early part in the stage, but you know, it's dragging you down just enough. Or if you're not paying attention, it could ruin what you're doing. See, I got rid of him for a second, but then he comes back. So, oh geez, and then I was not paying attention. Then that arm came out and got me. So now I am. Oh, I had missiles on. That's great. So I can switch right. So for some reason, I had missiles selected at that exact moment, and now I can switch back to Vulcan round. Which again, in these side-scrolling sections, this is pretty much the gun of choice. So we can, I mean, you're going to see, we're coming up to this part where these enemies are going to be behind us. We got to get rid of them before they do their dirty business. And no problem. I actually despawned an enemy there. That's pretty cool. I didn't know you could. Alright, so like, we want to get rid of this big old pod right up here, because it's going to, yeah, shoot those spore missiles out at us. A little tricky balancing the enemies coming in front of you and the enemies that are stationary behind you. But not a big deal so far. Alright, we're going to try to get back here and kill it real quick. Didn't quite kill it, but we didn't take a hit from these little... I don't know if they're supposed to be fish or what. This is an aquatic stage, but it's also not Darius, so... I don't know if Darius has, like, the rights to all fish and every shmup ever. I mean, I guess Abadox has a big shark boss.
Yeah, Abadox for sure.
So now we're going through this part up top without my, I should probably take a death. Now I'm definitely going to take a death. We'll see how long I can last without any decent weapon. I'll just dodge some shots here for a second. This is... I guess it's not all that much slower. I don't see any real nasty slowdown. There's probably a little bit that I can't really perceive. But for the boss, we're definitely going to want to take a death. Because we have no gun right now. So this is our base weapon. We can, if we hold down the A button, I can shoot little tiny baby missiles. They're pretty worthless. I just have this pea shooter for the rest of the time. And we're coming up to this part where... Oh, there's some more fish. How about that? Where we're going to have to break down these stones, almost, I guess they are. These underwater stones, and navigate through this section. Similar to the warp zone area that we saw in Gradius 3. And that wouldn't be so bad normally, but those guys that we saw earlier that latch onto you and drag you down, they pop up here. So sometimes you can use them to your advantage. It's way easier to do so when you have the Vulcan round. But we're going to try to make this work with this this crappy little pea shooter that we have here. And so far, so good. Oh, and I got to go low here. I am running out of space. There's the death. Okay. So now I'll just fly through the rest of this during my iframes. And we are good to go for this boss.
What is it with shmups and wanting to have areas you need to shoot walls for to get through?
You know, so you got all those tropes that you got to mix in. I just love when you sit like halfway in the water and halfway out of the water in this stage. The little mist that gets kicked up. It's one of my favorite parts of this game. In addition to the music and the killing of stuff with a spaceship.
Gameplay, the music, the controls, everything else.
Okay, so now for this boss, we are going to get right up in his grill and just hang out. So he's going to shoot a laser at us, and you'd think that would kill us. But no, in fact, what it does is it changes what weapon we have selected. And we don't really care, because we're going to put so much DPS on him that, like, he's not going to know what hit him. So we got to get... So he's shooting lasers at us already. He's angry. And he's dead. we just fly through that boss progression like nothing. So if you're taking notes along at home, get up close, fire at his weak spot for massive damage, and then win. Doesn't matter. Okay, so for the top-down section, it doesn't matter which missiles you select. At least not that I can tell. Probably someone out there horrified that I selected Explosion Bomb, but don't worry, like it's gonna be fine. Okay, I need a ruling on this. So I kept asking my chat, and we never got a straight answer. So there's these giant worms coming out of the lava here. I think that they are most like the worms in Tremors, but I have seen some people suggest that they are more closely resembling the sandworms in Beetlejuice. So I don't know what you think, Toad. I don't know what chat thinks. I think they're like Tremors, personally.
The clouds here. I see Tremors. I don't see Sandworm.
See, they're not striped, you know?
Yeah,
so,
like, I really don't. I see Tremors.
Gotta get that elephant gun out, you know? Elephant gun was like this thing of, like, myth. in my childhood because of that movie. That was the one weapon that would defeat every bad guy in history. Was the elephant gun. Alright, so, hey, look! It's like Gradius all over again. We got these, even though it's a fire stage, those are very clearly the sand dragons that are spawning. Because of their color. So they're making a cameo here in Axelay.
Not as big as jerks.
No, because when they blow up, they don't kill you. Even if you play on very hard, like, their body exploding does not kill you. Which is super nice of Konami. You would not expect that from Konami. But here we are. That's the easiest mini-boss in the game, by the way. I learned just earlier today that he can actually attack you. I never knew that until today. As you can imagine, that run was not the greatest of my life. This run's going alright, though. Alright, more sand dragons. I think there's one more left. Maybe that was the last... I think that was the last pair. There's a solo and then the pair that pops up towards the end of that section. Okay, so now we have like a ton of lag reduce. Oh, and we took a hit there. But we got an extra life while we were dying. So, great.
Good timing.
Easy come, easy go. So we just want to try to clear as much of... Oh, jeez, it spawned right on top of me again. Okay, so that time I didn't get an extra life, but I should probably get an extra life for killing this boss. The trick is to not die on this boss. Whaler, this boss coming up, which I think is like the boss most people associate with Axelay. Like, if you ever saw the promo art back in like Nintendo Power, EGM, or whatever, this was always the boss that I saw. It's like, damn, look at this big old fire boss. This is really cool looking. And I never played the game until like last year. But yeah, this is like the Axelay boss. We're gonna try to shoot him down with missiles, but he's kind of got this E-Honda attack scheme going on where he just wants to give you 100 hands at all times. But he'll kind of play it cool a little bit too. He'll like bring him back, and then he'll start throwing some bombs at you, shooting these fireballs. He's like, no, get yourself comfortable. Everything's gonna be fine, buddy. And then he'll just put both hands down, smash you, and there's not a whole lot you can do at that point. See, oh, there they go. Okay, well that I could have avoided that a little bit better, but it was, you know, he went with both hands there. When he does this smash, when he knocks all the lava rocks up, and then he moves his other hand down, that's the nastiest pattern you can get. The two-hand pattern is not quite as bad. Okay, so he's dead. Don't rush up to him, though. If you rush up to him before he starts melting away like that, then you will take a hit and die. Okay.
Sneaky with those boss deaths.
That's the great thing about it, man. You know, that's the great advantage of... We want to go with macro missile on this last one. So we got this wind laser. This is our new final weapon, and so we have to hold down the A button like we're firing missiles, but it's gonna kind of give us a homing laser, a little bit of a homing laser. The homing technology on Axelay, you know, God bless them, they tried, but it's a little bit spotty at times. Like, it kind of goes near enemies, but not necessarily killing them. But this is a pretty powerful weapon overall, and pretty versatile. You see like the swath that it covers on the screen. So right off the bat here, this is the final stage, and we are flying through this space battle. We have this armada of big space battleships coming after us, and we take a death there. That spaceship just came right on top of me. So we just have to, you know, you see this big ship coming in there. He's got a charging up his big old laser cannon. And you gotta watch out, make sure you don't get squished between the two. That's the nastiest thing that happens when you're unfamiliar with the game, but, you know, knowing what's coming up, we can avoid it better than what I just demonstrated. Now we're gonna have the Flying V ships coming up here. Shout out to Mighty Ducks. Oh, we have, like, the red ship left to go before that. You know, the red ship. Everybody's favorite.
Much cooler than the blue ship.
You got, yeah, I mean, the blue ship. Get out of here with that nonsense. Red ship is where it's at. Red laser, red ship. Game's telling you right there.
That's right.
Alright. Here come the Flying V, guys. And they are deceptively difficult to kill. I only focus on killing the leader, and then I just try to get out of their way. To see these lasers going right over top of them, and they're like, eh, whatever. But I cover so much territory that it's hard to get by without this gun. But here we go. We see an ATST almost. It's not quite Ed 209. I think maybe Ed Junior or something, but or an ATST. Oh my goodness. I could stand to have a few more lives at this point. Just let an enemy spawn on top of me. I think we'll get, like, probably 2 1-ups between now and the end of the game. Because we're probably going to want to take a Death Abuse for the final boss to refill our weapons. So I gotta be a little bit careful here. We're coming... So, I guess there's a mini-boss in this stage. I misspoke earlier when I said there's no mini-bosses in the side-scrolling parts. That's a lie, because there's definitely a mini-boss in this stage. And it's a doozy. He's got all sorts of stuff going on, so... not to sleep on this stuff coming up here before him. But this mini-boss... let's see, what does he have? So, the boss itself is no great shakes. It's just a spaceship that you have to shoot down, right? Okay, that's fine. But he's got 2 options with him that shoot lasers straight forward and diagonally. So if you're not careful for that, those lasers will snipe you. And while you're dealing with, you know, this big old ship that's taking up all of the screen real estate, and then you got his options that are, you know, firing at you with furious anger, you have to watch out for the fact that this spaceship or space station that we're inside of, that we're infiltrating to save the universe, well, if we're really just saving Earth, to save the world, we have to watch out for the fact that there are holes that are ripping open, and the vacuum of space is trying to pull us out. So they're pulling us towards the ceiling and the floor, depending on which we're closer to. Oh, I gotta be careful here. Okay, good. I made it past that part. And then, to top it off, the rest of the floor, there are other parts where it will shoot lasers as you go over that area. So you got like 4 things you have to worry about, and then ships start to spawn and everything. It's a really nasty little section of the game. You know, for a game that, like, on this mode is, like, pretty simple. You know, you can be relaxed and take a few extra deaths, as I've done here, but this part really ramps up. This last stage to give you the business for sure. So here's our mini boss right here. We can't do anything to him yet. We're gonna let him know what's coming. We're gentlemanly. And there are his options. So I am going to try my best to not get dead by them. There's one. Okay, so I gotta watch out for this little white portal here. There it goes. All right. So it just shot its laser down. Now I gotta be careful here because now this gravity well is doing a number on me. Okay, we got the 2 options down. We're gonna bust this thing open real quick. I just gotta watch out for these white little portals here where they shoot out their big old lasers at me. If I'm not paying attention, they can get me. But we paid attention and we got the boss down, or the mini boss. But we still have more of these laser shooting parts coming up. Floor and ceiling, they can spawn at both. Sometimes they'll spawn at both at the same time. And you just trigger them and get out of the way. But now we're just making our final push to the boss. We have to deal with a couple of nasty random enemies. These little satellite-looking enemies are particularly dangerous since they drop steel girders or whatever. And we have these jumping enemies that shoot kind of at random intervals and can really ruin your day. But we're... Oh! Okay, almost ran into the wall there. That enemy caught me off guard. But we're good. Alright, so we are coming up to the final boss here. The final boss has 4 forms. 4 forms. We'll be coming up on time in just a little bit here. We got about 2.5 minutes left in this game. Thereabout. So first form is nothing really. It's a couple things that you have to damage down while these asteroids rotate around you. And if we do this right... Yep, okay. It's always disconcerting when those asteroids just teleport in the middle of what you're doing. So now for this next part, it's going to shoot a lot of different clay blobs at us, and these different clay blobs are going to do different things. Like one of them turns into a homing laser, one of them is kind of like a sine wave gun, one's a big shot that extends across most of the screen area. I'd say they didn't hear me either. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't hear anything.
Dang.
Huh.
Weird.
But they can hear you now.
Okay. So, yeah. So, that's pretty much what I was saying about how to solve all the world crises. So, I hope everyone wrote that down. And yeah, from there we'll just wrap this up. I'm sorry about the tech issues, guys. I don't know. There's a little bit of snafu, but hey, it's a marathon. It's a big long marathon. There's gonna be tech issues here and there. Yeah, got to hear the best song though, which is Colony Stage 2. So at least you got that going for you, which is nice. Yeah, the final boss has 4 forms, and we got through all 4 of them. And life is good. The run was within 32 seconds of world record, so can't complain about that for a marathon. But yeah,
Awesome.
That's it. I feel a little silly repeating some of what I said right now, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna be brief here a little bit, but I want to thank Toad for sticking around and kind of giving me a little bit of commentary assistance here. But hope you guys enjoyed what you could hear and see of this. And
Did an excellent job.
Thank you. And actually, it's a great game. If you guys have an inkling for some shmup speedrun, it's a pretty simple one to get into. So check it out. And thanks for having me, Speed Gaming.
No problem. Thanks so much for being a part of the marathon, NME. I just added our host because I didn't think to do it, but I should have. Maybe he's at the mic, ready to help me transition. Maybe not.
I am ready, willing, and potentially able. I'm not quite sure about that, though. But again, thank you very much, NME, for Axelay, and Toad and NME for Gradius 3. It was absolutely entertaining, especially running what is effectively auto-scroller the game. But now, coming up next, we have got Desert Strike. That's going to be run by Rock Dog. So we're going to have that coming up for you in just a minute. We'll be getting you to that momentarily. Again, I do just want to remind everybody that in addition to all of the upcoming tournaments that I mentioned earlier, we also have a couple of tournaments going on right now here on the channel. The ongoing tournaments we have right now are, we have Shovel Knight. The finals of that tournament are going to be happening soon. In addition to that, the single elimination rounds are going to be beginning both on the Mega Man 3 tournament and the Mega Man X2 tournament. And finally, the group stages are underway in the Ori and the Blind Forest tournament. You can get the information on all of those tournaments by using !SK, !MM3, !X2, and !ORI in the chat. And with that, we are going to get you guys over to Desert Strike. Just a reminder, you are watching the SNES Superstars Marathon right here on Speed Gaming.